I love doing videos this way. I like sitting on the floor, crisscross applesauce. People who are walking by might think I'm crazy because I'm literally sitting at the patio window. And I'm also trying really hard to focus because I can see myself all here, but the camera's there. So I'm trying really hard to just look there and ignore everything else. I had a great response to my last YouTube video, so thank you so much for the support and all the kind comments that I got. It really helped a lot because for so long I felt alone in this feeling. But I know I'm not now. And as much as it breaks my heart that there's so many other people in the same situation, it feels nice to know that I'm not crazy. Well, at least not for that reason. Yeah, and that there are other people. So I'm sure you can hear my cat and my dog just came out. Look. Here's my dog. And my cat's over here. Okay, so I wanted to talk about, I've been seeing some questions floating around, so I thought I would at least try my best to do, to answer a couple of them. So one of them is share your story, which, I mean, I think I've kind of done, but it would have been, it's okay, Lola, there's a dog barking out there. Yeah, I think I did it, but it would have been almost a year ago now. So, and a lot's changed. As anyone with any type of chronic illness knows, it can change day to day, doctor to doctor. So I will just quickly go over my life, I guess, really quickly. Okay, so I don't remember ever being healthy. Like when I was a kid, I was born with like allergies, asthma, eczema. I had corrective shoes as a kid. But other than that, I think my life was pretty normal. Like I remember being in the hospital a lot for the asthma, but it was fine. I was fine. I got cancer at 14 and it was leukemia. And I was on treatment, chemotherapy for almost 3 years for that. And then I was fine. And I remained fine. So I finished chemo when I was 16 and a half. And I started feeling pain probably when I was 20, but it was fine, didn't slow me down. I worked 3 jobs all the time, went to full-time university. By the time I had to quit my job, I had a bachelor degree in education, a bachelor degree in psychology, an early childhood education diploma, and a specialization in autism and behavioral sciences. And I was working as an educational assistant in a developmentally forward classroom. So I worked in a medically fragile classroom and I loved it. Loved the kids, loved my coworkers. But now I've skipped ahead, so I started feeling pain when I was in university and working, but it was fine, I thought, and I didn't get my official rheumatoid arthritis, or seronegative inflammatory arthritis diagnosis until I was 23, and I tried a bunch of different treatments, and I was still in a lot of pain, and then that's when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And then I had started getting sciatic pain when I was 22, but it would come and go, like it would be in flares, like it'd be bad for a week and then it'd be fine for like 3 months, right? So it wasn't something that I really sought anything for. So, but it progressively got worse over time, and I didn't know why or what was going on, so I was just like, yeah, it's fine. And then it got really bad, and I kept pushing my rheumatologist for MRIs, and she ordered some, but I never heard anything about it. And by the time I was in the worst flare of my life, it was probably 2 months long, just crying, a lot of doctor's visits, a lot of ER visits, and I was doing physio for it because nobody had told me what was wrong or what was going on. And then my physiotherapist was like, no, you have like herniated discs and you're a mess. And I was like, what? Nobody told me anything. So it was from there that luckily my physiotherapist and my family doctor were in the same, like, oh, I hope it saved the other video. Okay, so I was doing a video and then my husband called and then it said it would pause and restart. So I might have to clip them together so you'll see this explanation and hopefully it'll be seamless. Anyway, so yeah, so I was at my physiotherapist and that's when they told me what was wrong. So I would go to my family doctor and he's like, oh, you're gonna need back surgery. So I had my first microdiscectomy April 4th, 2014. My second discectomy because after that one worked and then I got in a car accident and re-herniated the disc. So my second surgery was April 29th, 2015. And I woke up pretty traumatized from that surgery. It was really, really painful. It took like 3 hours longer than it was supposed to. It was awful. And never really healed well from that. I was diagnosed with failed back surgery syndrome, which I did not know was a thing. And I was diagnosed with degenerative disc disease. And I'm going for a spinal fusion probably within the next month. So, and then hopefully I'll get the spinal stimulator when I heal from that if I need it. Which, I mean, hopefully I won't, but if I do, at least I know that there's an option that could really help. So that is my short-ish history of all that ails me physically. My mental health is something that I don't talk about when I probably should. If you're my therapist, you know this, and you know that I look down and don't look at people when I'm talking about it. I know that mental health is physical because it's your brain and it's in your body, but I will talk for hours about all my chronic illnesses, chronic pain, without touching on my mental health. But I am going to do that now. I was diagnosed while I was on chemotherapy with major depressive disorder and generalized anxiety disorder with panic attacks. I have seen psychologists since my chronic illnesses. I've seen pain psychologists who corroborate those diagnoses. And my panic attacks are awful. And I am, my husband hates this term, functionally suicidal, because even though I do have suicidal thoughts, which is nothing to be ashamed of, it is normal-ish. I think if you're in this situation where you're in pain all the time, physical or emotionally, thinking of suicide is not uncommon, I don't think. But I have no plans to do so. And my favorite quote is, suicide doesn't take the pain away from you, it just transfers it to somebody else. And that is something that I think about every day, because there are a lot of people who love me, and I know that. And so yeah, even though I do think about it because I'm in chronic pain, it is not something that I will ever do, which sounds easy to say now, but I fight like hell every day to make sure that that's not something I'm gonna do. So that is a story about me. People ask a lot what it feels like to have chronic pain, because all they think about is pain, right? Like when you say that you have a chronic illness or chronic pain, people are just like, oh, you're in pain. And I mean, that's an easy way to just dismiss everything else, because chronic pain is not just pain. And I hate that people think that. My cats, so my mom makes these beautiful flower arrangements, and my cat is over there destroying one right now. Lemon, stop. She's too cute, it hurts. Hey. Sorry. Okay, so things that come along with chronic pain. anxiety, depression, functional suicidal thoughts. Though, like, mental illnesses go so hand in hand with chronic pain, and chronic pain is usually the cause of them, right? Like, nobody would think, like, that you wouldn't be depressed if you're in pain all the time. It makes sense. But people, because it's mental health, people just, like, push it aside because nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to deal with it. Because if you're in pain, take pain meds. If you're depressed, I don't know what to do with you. Go over there, is kind of how I feel that people look at it. Not everybody, but sometimes it feels that way. So those things. Anxiety is definitely one of them, because I am constantly terrified of being in another flare. They call it fibrophobia, flarephobia. Flares are hell. They are hell on earth. And yeah, I have anxiety about getting them because it is awful. Fatigue. And don't say I'm tired. I'm not tired. I am fatigued. I am exhausted. I walk down a parking lot and want to take a nap in it. You have to be quite fatigued to want to nap in a parking lot. Awful fatigue. And it makes you feel like you're sick, like literally like have the flu 100% of the time. What else? Fatigue, anxiety, depression, achy, again, like flu-like symptoms. No, oh my gosh, the fog, like the mental fog is, I used to be so smart and now I can't even remember brain fog. Like, that's how bad it is. I feel dumb. Like, I used to be really smart and now I feel like an idiot all the time. So that is definitely one of the worst parts of it for me, I think. Not being able to remember anything, even simple words. My husband was going on a trip and I was talking to my sister and I couldn't remember the word airport. So I was like, oh yeah, and then he has to go to the plane place. And my sister's like, do you mean the airport? And I'm like, that's what I mean. Where they keep the planes, that's where he's gotta go. Oh my gosh. Okay, and aside from those, there's weight gain, weight loss, hair loss, nails, like my nails are crud now from all the meds, nausea, I'm constantly nauseous, it's awful nausea, and it's because you have the illnesses, and the illnesses themselves have a million symptoms, and aside from the symptoms, you have the meds that you take for the illnesses, and then the side effects of the medication, and then you need meds for the side effects from the other meds that you need for the illnesses. I take no less than 20 pills a day, and that doesn't include all my weekly injections, and I get a few of them, inhalers, nasal sprays, like all of that. It's just the pills. Every week when I have to fill my weekly pill cases, it is the worst part of the week, other than the injections. So it's not just pain, it's everything. It's an illness, and it's hard. I use a walker all of the time, and I have canes littered around the house. I mean, it's not an easy life, but even with the depression, I try to be happy. It's hard because I'm at the patio, so you know it's sunny outside because you can see me. But I still feel dark. Like, I feel like everything is still dark even though it's sunny. Oh, which brings me to my other symptoms. Light, sound, and smell sensitivity. I can smell things that nobody else can smell, and it hurts. You know, like, when pregnant women have that sense of smell that's heightened, that's what it is. Except I don't really smell like things good. My My friend's like, how do you have smell aversions when you have like Scentsy all around the house? Good, like those smells I'm fine with. Like artificial smells are good, but if I smell things like alcohol, pine, tea tree oil, like anything like that, I get really like aggressively nauseated. In sounds are really bad. They can throw me into full-blown panic attacks. We have lovely children. We're in an apartment and there's kids in the apartment above us and they are so loud. It feels like, or it sounds like elephants, like running constantly. And I want to buy them slippers. We have like pictures hung on all of our walls and they're constantly crooked because of those kids. But it's fine. I love children. And sight. So lights are really bad. I have polarized sunglasses that I got because I went to a Carrie Underwood concert and my eyes were just crying. It hurt so bad, the lights. They were like very aggressive lights at her concert. And I've been to 2 concerts, Mariana's Trench and Ed Sheeran, where the bass made me cry and like my cousin had to hold like a bucket, or it was a bag, out in case I needed to vomit because it was really bad. But I would see both of them again in a heartbeat. Big fan of Ed Sheeran and Mariana's Trench. So yeah, those are some of the lovely side effects. I would love to hear what you guys want to hear from me. I want to do some cool things or talk about some fun things. So if you have any suggestions or questions that you want me to answer, please comment and I will definitely make that my next video. So whatever you suggest within reason, I will talk about or try and figure out a way to make happen. So yay. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.